For over a decade, we got a peek into a world of high-stakes gambling, hidden treasures, and truly unforgettable characters. Storage Wars wasn't just another reality show. It was a pop culture phenomenon. It showed us the strange and fascinating business of abandoned storage units where just a few $100 could turn into a life-changing score. We rooted for our favorite buyers, laughed at their rivalries, and all held our breath as they snipped the locks, wondering what treasures or trash was waiting inside. But behind the thrill of the bid, there's often a darker reality, one of heartbreak, struggle, and loss that most fans never got to see. For every amazing find, there was a personal battle being fought off-camera. For every on-screen feud, there were real-life challenges that money couldn't fix. Today, we're paying tribute to the beloved Storage Wars cast members we've tragically lost over the years. We're also honoring those who faced their own mortality, battling devastating health crises that nearly took them from us. This is the story of the fragile line between life and death that exists behind the thrill of the auction. When Storage Wars hit the airwaves in 2010, it was an instant, out-of-the-blue smash hit. The show's hook was simple but totally addictive. When storage unit rent goes unpaid for 3 months, the contents are sold at a cash-only auction. The buyers get a quick 5-minute look from the doorway, but they can't step inside or touch a thing. It's a gamble, a treasure hunt, and a business all-in-one. The show introduced us to a cast of characters as wild and unpredictable as the lockers they were buying. You had Dave Hester, the mogul, whose booming "Yoop" became the show's most famous and, let's be honest, most annoying catchphrase. There was Daryl Sheets, the gambler, a veteran of the game who was always swinging for the fences, hoping for that one monster score. We met the bickering but somehow effective duo of Jared Schultz and Brandy Passante, the young guns, trying to stock their thrift store and build a life. And who could forget Barry Weiss, the collector, a retired, quirky millionaire who wasn't there for the money, but just for the fun of the hunt, rolling up to auctions in a fleet of incredible classic cars. These personalities, along with auctioneers Dan and Laura Dotson, became household names. Millions of people tuned in, hooked, by the idea of finding a forgotten masterpiece, a stash of antiques, or just as often, a locker full of absolute junk. The show kicked off spin-offs, catchphrases, and a whole new public fascination with the second-hand world. But the pressure of being on reality TV is no joke. The non-stop filming, the need for on-screen drama, and the bright glare of the public. Spotlight can wear anyone down. Behind the slickly edited episodes, the cast members were real people with real problems. Legal issues, financial stress, broken relationships, and serious health scares were always simmering just below the surface. For some, fame made their existing struggles worse. For others, the stress of their new lives created problems they never saw coming. The dark side of this business would soon become painfully clear, proving that the biggest gambles weren't for storage lockers, but in the lives of the people we thought we knew. Mark Balelo showed up on Storage Wars in Season 2 with a style you just couldn't ignore. Dressed in flashy clothes and carrying what seemed like an endless supply of cash, he quickly earned the nickname Rico Suave. Balelo wasn't on every episode, but when he was, he made an impact. He was famous for carrying a man purse, stuffed, with thousands of dollars to intimidate and outbid the regulars. His whole strategy was to cause chaos. He'd show up, crank the prices sky high, and often walk away with the most expensive lockers, much to the annoyance of guys like Dave Hester and Daryl Sheets. Off-screen, Balelo was a sharp and successful businessman. He owned an auction house, a wholesale company, and a car liquidation business. He was a real entrepreneur, a hustler who saw value where others didn't. One of his most famous moments didn't even involve a locker. In 2011, he helped get a stolen copy of Action Comics #1, Superman's first appearance, back to its owner, actor, Nicolas Cage. That comic was worth nearly $1 million, and Balelo's role in its return got him national attention. But behind the confident, Rico Suave persona, Mark Balelo was fighting a desperate battle. His life away from the cameras was spiraling, marked by legal troubles and a serious struggle with substance abuse. In the years before he died, he was arrested multiple times on serious charges that put his freedom and his business at risk. His friends and family knew he was in a bad place, but the public had no idea how deep his despair ran. Things took a tragic turn in February 2013. Balelo was arrested on suspicion of possessing meth. For him, this was a devastating blow. After being released from jail, he was reportedly beside himself with grief and told his fiancée he was afraid he might hurt himself. They met at his office in Simi Valley, California, and talked for hours. He seemed to calm down and even took a nap. When he woke up, he said he felt better, and his fiancée left for the night, thinking the worst was over. But it was a mask. Sometime after she left, Mark Balelo made a final, tragic choice. On Monday, February 12, 2013, an employee came to his auction house and found a horrific scene. Balelo was in his car, which had been left running inside the garage. The medical examiner later confirmed the 40-year-old had died of asphyxiation from carbon monoxide poisoning, ruling his death a suicide. The news was a shock to the Storage Wars community. Fans and cast members were stunned that a life that seemed so full of bravado could end so suddenly and violently. The tragedy was a harsh reminder that the people on our screens aren't invincible. They're human beings with complicated lives and hidden pain. Mark's death revealed a dark truth. The high-pressure world of reality TV, mixed with personal demons, can have fatal consequences. He was a man who, despite all his success, couldn't escape the darkness that followed him. In the often confrontational world of Storage Wars, where egos clash and insults are part of the job, Gunter Neujoda was a total breath of fresh air. He first appeared on the show in 2015 with his son, series regular Neujoda, and Gunter immediately stood out. With his thick Austrian accent, warm smile, and genuinely easygoing vibe, he was the polar opposite of the cutthroat bidders around him. He was the gentle giant of the auction circuit, and fans absolutely loved him for it. Born in Vienna, Austria, Gunter was a man of many talents long before he was on reality TV. After living in Germany, he moved to Las Vegas in 1990 and built a fascinating career. He was a skilled professional photographer for big clients like Ford and Microsoft. He was also a fantastic bass player who had played with rock legends like Kevin Dubrow of Quiet Riot and Pat Travers. He even did some acting in independent films. He was a true Renaissance man who just loved life. On Storage Wars, Gunter was often the comic relief and the voice of reason next to his more intense son, René. Their chemistry was amazing to watch. René would be focused on the profit, but Gunter would be fascinated by the history of an old piece of furniture or the nostalgic charm of a vintage toy. He wasn't playing a character. He was just being himself. As René later said, Gunter was one of the only people on the show who never got any hate from viewers. People just loved him. In late 2022, the Neujoda family got heartbreaking news. Gunter was diagnosed with lung cancer. His son later shared that Gunter had been a smoker for 30 years, though he had quit a decade earlier. The family decided to keep his diagnosis private, hoping he could beat the disease. He started chemotherapy, a brutal process that took a huge toll on him and led to severe complications, like holes forming in his lungs. Despite the aggressive treatment, his condition got worse. In early 2023, he was flown to Utah for what they hoped would be a life-saving surgery. But when the surgeons operated, they found the cancer was too widespread. There was nothing more they could do. Surrounded by his family, Gunter Neujoda passed away peacefully in his sleep on March 21, 2023. He was 67. His son René shared the news in an emotional video, his voice thick with grief. He explained why they kept the illness private and shared his hope that his father was finally free from pain. The outpouring of love from fans was enormous, a testament to the quiet, powerful impact Gunter had made. His passing wasn't sudden or violent like Mark Balelo's. It was a slow, painful battle with a relentless disease, but it was no less heartbreaking. We lost a truly good man, a multi-talented artist, and a beloved father whose warmth lit up even the cynical world of reality TV. The stories of Mark and Gunter are a powerful reminder of the real people behind our favorite shows. In the comments below, we'd love for you to share your favorite memories of them. What moments from the show stood out to you? Let's fill the comments with tributes to these unforgettable men. And if you find this tribute valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. Your support helps us continue to tell these important stories respectfully. Now let's talk about the cast members who had their own tragic brushes with death and miraculously lived to tell the tale. While the Storage Wars family has mourned the loss of some of its own, it has also give up. Their journeys are proof of their resilience and a stark reminder of how fast life can change. Daryl Sheets was a true original, one of the OGs of Storage Wars. Known as the Gambler, he was famous for his high-risk, high-reward approach. While others played it safe, Daryl was always hunting for the wow factor, that one amazing locker that could hold a fortune. He was loud, confident, and he found some of the show's biggest scores, including a locker with Frank Gutierrez art that landed him a massive profit. For 12 seasons, Daryl was a fixture on the show. But in early 2019, his life took a terrifying turn. He'd been feeling sick for 3 months and just couldn't shake it. Then one night, he suffered what he later described as a mild heart attack. Rushed to the hospital, he got even more grim. News: on top of the heart attack, he had congestive heart failure and a major problem with his lungs. At 60 years old, the man who gambled on storage lockers was now facing the biggest gamble of his life, his own survival. He shared the news from his hospital bed with his fiancée Romney by his side and asked for prayers. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from a guy known for his tough exterior. The gambler was scared, and he wasn't afraid to show it. Thankfully, the surgery was a success. That health scare was a huge wake-up call for Daryl, forcing him to confront his own mortality. In the years since, he's focused more on his health and his family. He officially retired from the high-stress world of Storage Wars and started a new chapter. Despite occasional rumors, Daryl Sheets is very much alive and well, a survivor who knows that sometimes the biggest win is simply getting a second chance. If one cast member lived for the drama of Storage Wars, it was Dave Hester. The mogul was the villain fans loved to hate. His signature yoop was designed to get under his competitor's skin, and it worked like a charm. He was aggressive, strategic, and loved playing the bad guy. His relationship with the show was famously rocky. In 2012, he filed a lawsuit against A&E, claiming producers planted items in lockers to create drama. The network fired him, a legal battle followed, and eventually they settled. In a shocking twist, Hester returned to the show, villain persona and all. But in late 2018, Dave faced a fight that had nothing to do with auctions. One night, he woke up struggling to breathe and was rushed to a hospital where he suffered a hemorrhagic stroke. It was incredibly serious. Doctors found it was caused by high blood pressure and a severe case of undiagnosed sleep apnea. He was stopping breathing over 100 times an hour in his sleep. He spent days in the ICU. The man who commanded auctions with his booming voice now had to relearn how to walk and take care of himself. For a guy defined by his loud confidence, the tool experience was deeply humbling. His recovery was slow and difficult, and he stepped away from the spotlight. But Dave Hester is a fighter. Slowly, he rebuilt his strength. As season 16 of the show geared up in mid-2025, whispers of a potential major comeback began to circulate, leaving fans everywhere to wonder if the mogul was finally ready to get back in the game. His journey back from the brink is a stunning testament to his resilience. We also have to mention the near tragedy that struck another fan favorite, Barry Weiss. The collector was the soul of the show's early seasons. He left in 2013 simply because he'd had his fun and was ready to go back to being a world-class slacker. But in April 2019, Barry's chill lifestyle was violently interrupted. He and a friend were riding motorcycles in LA when they crashed into a car pulling out of a parking spot. The accident was horrible. Barry suffered major chest and leg injuries and was rushed to the ICU. He spent 2 months in the hospital and needed multiple surgeries. Rumors even spread that he had died. His recovery was long and grueling. But in his own unique way, Barry fought through it. In a move that delighted longtime fans, he made brief but triumphant returns to Storage Wars for seasons 14 and 15, a welcome link to the show's golden age. The accident may have sidelined him, but it couldn't crush the spirit of the collector. It's easy to forget that the people we see on TV are real. The stories of the Storage Wars cast are a powerful reminder that behind the entertainment are actual human beings. We mourn the tragic deaths of Mark Balelo and Gunter Neujoda, two very different men who each left a huge mark on the show. Mark's story is a heartbreaking lesson on the silent battles with mental health and addiction that can hide behind success. Gunter's passing reminds us just how fragile life is and how much a kind and gentle soul will be missed. At the same time, we celebrate the incredible strength of survivors like Daryl Sheets, Dave Hester, and Barry Weiss. Each of them stared death in the face and chose to fight back. Their recovery journeys are inspiring and show the power of the human spirit. Storage Wars sold us on the dream of finding treasure in forgotten places. But maybe the real, lasting legacy of the show is the human stories of its cast. Stories of triumph, tragedy, loss, and survival. They remind us to look past the persona and see the person, and to cherish both the time we have and the memories of those who are gone. The lockers may be forgotten, but these unforgettable people never will be.